Alright, what's good, y'all? My name is Shane, Hood Nerd. We're gonna do this quick repair. Gave my boys my speaker to use, and throughout the usage, one of them accidentally broke out the charging port. So I'll show you the charging port, how we gonna fix that, and exactly what's gonna go on next. But let's just show out the speaker real quick and get started. So, this is a regular speaker. I'm not sure exactly where it came from. I don't even know when I got this thing, but it's good. Great bass, great high pitch. Everything sounds good on it, except can't charge it anymore. Right here where that DC 5-volt USB-C should be, there's a nice hole. Can't get any charge. Speaker still works, but it is dead. Obviously, they couldn't break it and leave me some charge. So if I want to listen to anything, I'm gonna have to charge it myself and fix it. So let's get on that process. Now I already took out the USB port, USB-C, and just from a quick visual, I can tell that one of the pads may ripped off. You can see that copper color. Hopefully there's not too much damage on the board, but we're gonna find out real quick. So I'm gonna take my microscope, get a quick view of this just to see what it looks like. Open up the speaker, get a view of the speaker, and we're gonna see exactly what the damage is and how we're gonna fix it. So, got the speaker back. Let's get some of these 4 screws out and see what we're working with. Let's see. So, one thing I've done these type of repairs before, and I always forget to take a picture of what this circuit looks like. This is going to be vital. If we do get this fixed and working properly, I don't want to be flipping this switch and these plugs are in the wrong spot. So just quick visual. All right, this is for the power switch. This is red, so it obviously is going to go with the red one. These are blank. I think I'm only seeing about 2 that have 2 ports, so it shouldn't be too much. But sometimes if you have a lot of 2-prong or a lot of the same looking cord and you put it in the wrong spot, you could blow something. So to avoid that, get a quick picture first, and then we can take it apart. So I got my picture, and let's quickly just disconnect all these wires so we can work on this a little easier. There's a little ribbon cable right here. I'm just gonna flip it over. Actually, I should be able to just pull this guy out. So there we go. Ribbon cable's out, and this is what we're working with. So let's get this speaker out the way. So this is the whole module with the back. You can see the hole here, and then right here is where that charging port should be. So I'm gonna get in there with my microscope and see exactly what that damage is and how we're gonna fix this. But just to make it a little easier, let's get this disconnected. So let me see how it's attached. Is it glued? Hold on, let me see. Okay, it's looking like these are actually screws. So let me just, oh yeah, that screw is pretty easy. Let's try this one. Oh yeah. I might need a little more on that guy. There we go. Let's just get that fully off, put that to the side. Same with this guy right here. Perfect. That should just come off like that. All right, let's put this to the side. And this is the board that we're working with. So let's get in here with the microscope and then see exactly what we're working with. So I just want to see what these pads look like. This, you can tell those 2 in the middle still have a lot of the board still attached to them, and that's going to be our main issue. I'm going to try and see if I can reattach those to the board, complete that connection, and then we'll see. But you can tell right there where those pads go, and let's just see if we can get everything to lay down and connect. So we saw a board. There's one thing I noticed off camera, and that you can't really tell, but one of these wires is a little lifted. That guy right there. So I'm gonna have to be careful around that one, make sure it doesn't lift fully. and try and get that reattached to that pad. Hopefully this all works out well, but I'm doing this for the first time, so you guys get to learn with me. First, we're gonna start off, I'm just gonna desolder all this solder on the back for the pads, try and clean this off a little bit, and then see how well that old USB port still attaches. I'm just learning as I go, and I figured I'd document the process. So hopefully this is the process. Okay, that looked a little better. Well, that flux is definitely doing something. Let me get a fresh strip. Okay, see, we learning, y'all, we learning. Now, I don't want to heat it up too much. I heard if you heat it up too much, you can get these pads to lift. And as we know, that's the problem on the other side. So let's try and not make that a local issue. I'm just trying to get up the last bits that I can. But let's get this side. I'm a little more scared on this front side simply because I do have evidence of the pads being lifted, but there's really nothing to lose because the speaker doesn't work. So we're gonna figure her out. Okay, that looks like it flowed pretty nice. So that's the cleanup job we got. Looks okay. Get in there with the microscope and show you what I did. But before we do that, let me just clean this off a little bit. One of the videos I saw online was talking about using alcohol to clean off flux, because since alcohol evaporates really, really fast, it shouldn't be a problem later on. So just get some alcohol on this Q-tip. Just go back and forth gently. Since this is alcohol, it should cool off just with a quick little bit of air. I did 3D print and make this fan out of a computer fan. Maybe I'll make a video on that in the future. So if you want to see a video on this, I know it's a little simple, but hit me up in the comment section and I'll make that video. Now there's a lot of damage on these pins just because I ripped off some of the circuit board. I don't want to change this. I want to try and preserve, especially this long little wire right here. I want to preserve that one as long as possible. Come over on the other side and try and just get those pads to pop through real quick. So let's see if we can get these pads to pop through. I think it's working. Yep, I could feel it sliding in. There we go. I'm just applying pressure on the other side while heating it up, just to get these pins just to push through and set. I know it looks kind of goofy. I have helping hands, which is like little clamps. It's supposed to be coming in tomorrow, but I want to listen to music today, so I'm gonna just fix it with what I got. So we made a little bit of a mess here. Let me clean this up a little bit. Take my microscope, get back into here, see what these pins are looking like. But our pads are on roughly, so that this won't just pop off. And now we can go to back reattaching all these wires. I think there's 5 of them, so let's get that microscope and see. All right, so from what I can see, this little wire right here should be able to reattach to that curled copper wire, but I'm not too sure. Like I said, this is my first time doing something exactly like this type of repair, with the wires being curled and having to reattach, but they're not looking too bad. So let's just lay down these wires that we just saw real quick. So I'm just gonna position that one right there. And very carefully, I'm gonna try and unbend that pin. And just lay it right back down. You would think I knew what I'm doing. Cause that looks okay to me. I'm not mad at that. All right, so basically what I'm looking at, because I know you guys don't have that close up. Let me get a better system soon, but right in here, that pad we just zoomed in on, all I did was lay down that curled part and then lay down the wire. I'm not too sure how to get them to perfectly connect, but I'm just gonna put some solder on there and see. I would use my heat gun, but I don't have a small enough nozzle. I don't want to heat everything up, so let's just see what I can do with just a soldering iron and some simple skills. And just lay down a little flux. Hopefully that helps that pad stick down too. Get some more flux on my soldering iron. Get some more flux on my board itself. Take a little bit of solder. Put that on there. And just simply it looks pretty good to me. Soldered back on. I'm gonna apply a little bit to this side. It looks okay. I don't want to play around with it too much simply because of all that damage that is on it. Let's see. That wire isn't perfectly on there, but it's touching. And honestly, if I can get this thing to work again, I'll be very happy. I ain't no technical repairer, so if I could do this, I feel pretty good about myself. Everything else looks to be touching. That second pad from the bottom, I'm gonna just hit it up one more time with a little more solder just to make it a cleaner connection. And that one at the very top, then I definitely have to add some solder to that. But besides that, I think we're okay. So we have our back plate. I'm gonna attach that last, but just so I have the power functionality, let me just plug that in. Now I am using my picture as reference, and if this does work, don't worry, I am gonna go back and clean out all that flux. I just don't feel like, I really don't feel like double working. So what I'm gonna do is just quickly reattach all these wires and then plug her in and see what happens. So we are rewired in. Let's get a USB-C charger and see what happens when we plug her in. Now I know there should be a little indicator light that comes on when it's charging properly, and I don't currently see that. So let's do some troubleshooting and see what's going on. If anyone tells you crash outs aren't justified, tell them to go find something to do. Because I'm telling you right now, I almost threw this thing through a wall. So off camera, I was trying to fix this. Turns out the pads are fried, pads are cooked. They kept trying to connect them, they kept lifting. And basically, for y'all that don't know, the pads and the little light green or dark green that you see in there, those are wires. And that's what connects all these circuits. So since that wire broke, it's so small I can't really put it back on. I don't have the tools or whatever, so kind of got mad. I didn't really know what I was gonna do, but I did find what could potentially be a solution. So we got a little diode here, and these legs are made of metal and they're very bendable. So I figured I could use this guy right here as a new wire. Cut this guy, and I soldered him after looking at the circuit board. Because if you look at the circuit board, you can see that, let me see if I could zoom in. There we go. If you look at the circuit board, you can see where all these wires lead to just by following them, just with a quick visual. And I'm thinking that this third pin connects to this first resistor right here, which means this fourth pin will be connecting to this middle resistor, and I'm just using that little cutoff from that diode to connect those two. So I'll cut off another piece, get that one attached to this second or this middle resistor, connect that to this third or fourth pin, and see what happens from there. It's as simple as cutting that off and then taking my tweezers and just molding it to the right shape. So the first one, I bent it and shaped it, and what I learned is that it might actually be easier to directly just connect it to that middle resistor and then bend it and everything after. So I'm gonna do that and then come back to this video. All right, let's position this thing. Looks to be in about the right spot. Now I'm simply just gonna hold it down and solder it on. All right, that looks like it's connected. Show y'all real quick, see what y'all can see. Got both those wires there. Now I'm just gonna quickly bend them into shape. That way they're not touching and shorting or whatever. You just bend them to where they're supposed to go. And then the next step will be soldering them on. Now there is a little pad here. I don't know what that's powering, but I don't want to touch it. So I am gonna lift this wire up just a little bit. All right, I am going to try and solder this back on now. Hopefully it goes nice and smooth. Let's see what exactly it looks like. I know it's not going to be pretty. I just want to make sure everything's touching where it needs to touch, not touching each other. And then I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in and see what it looks like. I'm going to wipe it down a little bit first, get some of that flux off, but from what I'm looking at, it's not too bad. Just went the microscope view, I'll show you guys that. But for the final test, or we'll see if it's the final test. If it doesn't work, it's not the final test, it's just one of how many is next. But I'm gonna plug this in, little LED right here, it should turn on. If that works, I'm just gonna hook this up to the speaker and see if we can get this to start up. I did, just to explain more, I took this little diode right here. Goodness, I need to change these gloves, had them on too long. I just cut the legs off this diode and then bent them into place and soldered them on in place of where those pads and wires were connecting. And now, as you can see, we have a full connection. So if we get some light. Let's go. All right, say that. We got light. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not heating up wrong. I don't think I shorted anything. And the light hasn't gone out yet. So let's rewire this thing and see. And that charging indicator I got before should just disappear on my speaker. Let's turn her on and see if we hear something. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Well, since we're here, I accidentally broke this connector. So I'm just going to strip that wire and resolder that back on. And hopefully it works. Those wires soldered back on. Now I'm just going to reconnect everything. All right, let's see. It's true. Charger. All right, put in the charger, we get an indicator light. Now let's see what happens when I flip the power switch that I just broke before. I think we in business. Let's see if we see the charging indicator. Charging indicator's on right there. Let's see, right there. So, quick little video, quick little repair. Had a little issues along the way, but we got it done. I'll be making a lot more videos like this. Just let me know what you want to see. This is the first video I've ever made. Goodness, you can tell I went to work today. Gloves are dirty, but it's my first video. Let me know what you guys want to see. I don't really have a direction yet. I kind of just want to fix things. So I have a 3D printer. I do a lot of 3D printing builds. I do a lot of repair builds. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments and what you thought of this repair. Also, let me know ways I could improve, make my job easier, because that was a little difficult. All right, man. Peace.